Welcome to Royal Secrets. When a queen walks into the spotlight, every gesture becomes a message. But when Queen Mary of Denmark stepped out recently, she didn't need words. The world saw it. The choice she made spoke louder than any royal proclamation. No interviews, no official statement, just a look, a move, a decision that made every royal watcher sit up in awe. Was it love, loyalty, a message to her people, or to her husband? Stay with us as we decode the powerful symbolism behind Queen Mary's recent decision. Because behind the tiaras and official duties, lies a story that has captivated an entire kingdom. She was born Mary Donaldson in Hobart, Tasmania, an ordinary girl with a bright mind and a passion for life. But destiny had something extraordinary in store. From the shores of Australia to the palaces of Denmark, her journey is the kind of modern fairy tale that once seemed too good to be true. But even in fairy tales, shadows creep in. And over the past year, Queen Mary has been thrust into the heart of royal drama. Whispers of scandal, rumors of betrayal, public scrutiny, and yet through it all, she stood tall. This is the story of how Queen Mary, Denmark's beloved consort, silenced every critic with one graceful act of loyalty. A silent message, a royal move that needs no explanation. Behind the castle walls, things haven't been quiet. Ever since King Frederick ascended the throne in January, a storm has quietly brewed around the royal couple. Social media exploded with speculation. Was their marriage under strain? Was the new king facing personal pressures? Royal commentators noted Queen Mary's subtle distance in certain public events. Her solo appearances in Australia. Her moments of calm composure at tense engagements. And the now infamous moment during the Spanish state visit, when she looked away, just as the cameras zoomed in. In a world where every royal smile or glance is dissected, fans and critics alike wondered, was this the end of a fairy tale? And then, Queen Mary made her choice. It wasn't the grand ballroom that made headlines. It was what she wore to it. On the night of the Danish Parliament's gala banquet, Queen Mary stunned in a gown the world had seen before. The very same dress she wore in 2019 the night King Frederick, then Crown Prince, gave a tearful speech in her honor. The night they celebrated their love story in front of a nation. But this time, there was a twist. She wore the dress with the ruby parure, the treasured Danish royal jewel set reserved only for the most symbolic occasions. And more importantly, she held Frederick's arm with a grace and closeness that hadn't been seen in months. The message was loud. This was her statement. No press release, just presence. And it worked. Danish newspapers the next morning weren't subtle. Mary is still our Queen of Hearts, read one headline. A silent embrace. The power of royal loyalty, another. Even tabloids across Europe dropped the scandal narrative. Instead, they shifted to admiration. For a woman who has balanced motherhood, monarchy, and media madness with elegance, and who now made it clear, she stands by her king. Social media exploded. Danish citizens posted clips of the event, zooming in on Queen Mary's hand resting gently on Frederick's back. Twitter users called it the royal reset. Instagram filled with praise for the couple's renewed closeness. But this wasn't just about optics. It was about reclaiming the narrative. It's easy to forget that Queen Mary and King Frederick's story began like a Hollywood movie. Sydney, the year 2000. A bar called Slip In. An Australian commoner and a Danish prince meet by chance. Sparks fly. The rest is royal history. But what followed wasn't always easy. Cultural gaps, media pressure, family expectations. And now, 20 years and 4 children later, they face the challenge of ruling a modern monarchy. What Queen Mary showed at the banquet wasn't just love, it was strength. It was a reminder that royal marriages, like any other, are built on communication, commitment, and resilience. Royal watchers were quick to point out that every element of Queen Mary's appearance was deliberate. The gown, a callback to a happier time. The tiara, a symbol of dynastic continuity. The rubies, traditionally worn by Danish queens in times of renewal or national pride. Her hairstyle, identical to one worn at her engagement ball. It was a layered message, expertly crafted. Royal historians noted that Queen Ingrid, grandmother to King Frederick, once wore the same ruby set during a royal crisis in the 1950s. Could Mary be subtly referencing her predecessor, drawing strength from royal women before her? Whatever the case, the public understood the message. This wasn't just about fashion. This was a carefully staged royal intervention, carried out with velvet gloves. Queen Mary's move may have been silent, but its impact will echo for years. In a time when monarchies across Europe face questions about their relevance, Denmark now finds itself with a queen consort who knows exactly how to captivate hearts and calm storms. She didn't need to speak. She didn't need to defend herself. She simply reminded Denmark why she was chosen. Why, despite every rumor, every whisper, and every pressure, the crown remains steady. And most of all, why her love story with King Frederick still matters. To many, Queen Mary's decision seemed like a romantic gesture. But to royal insiders, it was something more, a strategic display of unity, designed to restore calm not only in the media but within the monarchy itself. Experts in royal protocol called it classic soft power, a technique Mary has mastered over the years. While kings and politicians make official speeches, queens often do something even more powerful. They influence the public mood with a glance, a gesture, a choice of outfit. And that's exactly what Queen Mary did. While some royals would fight rumors with interviews or statements, Mary did something infinitely more effective. She turned public appearances into quiet but convincing declarations. In the age of Instagram and instant gossip, silence can be risky. It's often mistaken for weakness. But Queen Mary knows the art of royal silence, and how to make it her strength. For months, she didn't respond to growing speculation about her marriage. She didn't try to explain her solo travels. She simply showed up poised, prepared, and present. And now, with one carefully orchestrated appearance beside King Frederick, she's done what few royals could pull off. She reversed a narrative that once threatened to overshadow the Danish throne. That's not luck. That's leadership. The kind that doesn't shout, but resonates deeply. Let's not forget, the Queen is also a mother. While dealing with national attention and private pain, Mary has continued to guide her children through their own royal journeys. Princess Isabella, Prince Vincent, Princess Josephine, and Crown Prince Christian are growing up in a palace under a microscope. Every public move of their parents affects their future roles. Which is why Mary's gesture at the royal banquet wasn't just about marriage, it was about legacy. By appearing united with King Frederick, she sent a message to her children and the people of Denmark: their family is strong. The monarchy is stable, the future is secure, and in a world hungry for authenticity, that message landed like thunder. When Queen Mary made her silent royal statement, it drew immediate comparisons to other iconic royal women. Princess Diana once wore a similar, revenge dress moment to reframe the narrative after heartbreak. Queen Letizia of Spain, Mary's close royal ally, has used fashion and presence to assert her position through some of the most tumultuous royal headlines in Spain's history. And of course, Grace Kelly, Hollywood royalty turned Monaco's princess, perfected the language of elegance and mystery, captivating the world without ever revealing too much. But Mary's style is uniquely hers. She draws from history but writes her own script. And in this latest chapter, she has etched her name among the most powerful consorts of modern times. Why does it matter so much? Because Queen Mary isn't just a royal figure, she's a national icon. The people of Denmark have watched her evolve from a shy Australian newcomer to the poised queen consort who now commands global attention. Her story is Denmark's story. When she smiles, the country feels warmth. When she stumbles, the country worries. And when she returns to the spotlight, arm in arm with her king, the country breathes a sigh of relief. This emotional investment is the true currency of modern monarchies. And Queen Mary knows how to protect it. Across the globe, royal houses took note. In Norway, Queen Sonja praised the dignity and depth of Queen Mary's re-emergence. In Sweden, Queen Sylvia was said to be moved by the symbolism of the ruby pearl moment. Even Queen Maxima of the Netherlands reportedly reached out privately to offer her support and admiration. In the UK, comparisons were made to Kate, the Princess of Wales, who similarly navigates media pressure and public scrutiny with poise. But unlike Kate, Queen Mary now reigns beside her husband, making her role even more central, more visible, and more critical. And still, she manages to stay relatable. That's the magic of Queen Mary: global influence without arrogance, elegance without ego. What allows a woman like Mary to stay so composed under pressure? Sources close to the Danish court hint at a few key traits. First, her grounding in a non-royal background. Growing up in Australia gave her a strong sense of identity, one that royal titles never replaced. Second, her deep commitment to preparation. Unlike many consorts, Mary is known for intense briefings before public events. She studies policy, reads diplomatic reports, and connects deeply with causes she supports. Third, her network of personal support. From her inner circle in Copenhagen to her quiet retreats in Hobart, Mary maintains strong ties to people outside the royal bubble. And that's what keeps her steady. But perhaps most importantly, it's her bond with Frederick. No matter the tension, no matter the rumors, the history they've built together has a foundation strong enough to withstand even the fiercest public storm. As Queen Mary stood beside Frederick, wearing the ruby crown jewels and holding his arm with grace, she reminded us what monarchy really is. It's not just pageantry. It's not just duty. It's about storytelling, emotional continuity, human connection passed down through generations. In that single appearance, she didn't just support her husband, she carried centuries of Danish royal history on her shoulders and made it feel alive again. This wasn't a PR stunt. This was a masterclass in royal authenticity. And the people noticed. The scene couldn't have been more royal. A candlelit banquet, violins playing softly, palace chandeliers glowing like constellations. Yet in a room full of power and tradition, every eye was on one woman. Queen Mary didn't just walk in that night, she arrived. Dressed in symbolism, radiating quiet strength, she turned the room into a theater, and the world into her audience. And when she reached for Frederick's hand, the gesture said it all. We're still here, we're still united, and we're not done writing our story. That single moment, one captured in thousands of flashes, turned the narrative around. Suddenly, it wasn't about scandal or speculation. It was about survival, about royal endurance in a modern world that often demands transparency but doesn't always offer understanding. What the public saw was the fairy tale, the gown, the tiara, the grace. But behind closed doors, court insiders reveal a queen who had meticulously planned her return to the public eye. Multiple fittings, consultations with royal advisors, hours spent in preparation with her children, ensuring their comfort during the renewed spotlight. And most tellingly, rehearsed choreography with King Frederick himself. This wasn't just a photo op, it was a carefully crafted comeback. And not for personal gain, but to protect the monarchy, the public image of her husband, and the stability of her family. To lead without speaking, to rule with gestures, that is Queen Mary's genius. Just months ago, headlines around the world hinted at division. Royal rift in Copenhagen, distance between Denmark's king and queen. The media machine thrives on uncertainty, and Queen Mary had become the centerpiece of their speculation. But the tide turned that evening. Suddenly, those same outlets rushed to revise the narrative. The Daily Mail published, Queen Mary's unspoken message, the royal romance lives on. Bild Bladet declared, long live the Queen of Unity. Even typically cynical, commentators began praising Mary's masterclass in soft diplomacy. And just like that, the queen who had been under fire emerged as the very flame that reignited royal loyalty. Let's rewind the clock. This wasn't the first time Queen Mary used symbolism to navigate stormy waters. Think back to 2016, when Frederick was under fire for a controversial trip abroad, and Mary, then crown princess, appeared at a charity event wearing the Danish Order of the Elephant sash, typically reserved for formal state occasions. That was her message. The family is still loyal to Denmark. The institution comes first. She turned personal embarrassment into national dignity. Fast forward to 2020, when rumors swirled about Frederick's absence from family holidays. Mary didn't comment. Instead, she published new photos of their children, laughing, playing, thriving. The focus shifted to family values. Once again, she controlled the story without ever raising her voice. What we're witnessing in 2025 isn't new. It's the culmination of a long-standing strategy, resilience by design. But let's be honest, this isn't just about public image. It's also about pain. Because behind every royal wave and smile is a woman who, like anyone else, has felt disappointment, loneliness, and pressure. Queen Mary may wear diamonds, but her struggles are painfully real. The whispers of discontent, the rumors of distance between her and the king, The pressure of raising royal children under scrutiny. The burden of not just being loved by a nation, but being needed by it. It's in this context that her recent appearance becomes even more powerful. It wasn't just romantic, it was redemptive. She didn't just stand beside Frederick, she stood tall against every false headline, every private doubt, every public assumption. That's not fairy tale magic. That's emotional bravery. It's easy to forget that watching all of this unfold were 4 young royals, whose futures depend on the decisions made today. Princess Isabella, about to turn 18, is already a rising star in the Danish press. Crown Prince Christian, freshly inaugurated into adult royal life, watches his mother closely for cues on handling pressure. Even the twins, Josephine and Vincent, have begun making subtle public appearances. What do they see? A mother who doesn't flinch. A queen who doesn't retreat. A woman who loves deeply, leads quietly, and carries the entire weight of royal expectations on her shoulders without breaking. In Queen Mary, they're not just watching their mother, they're watching a blueprint for how to survive in royalty. There's something deeply human about watching a royal couple navigate real challenges. Because it reminds us that even those with castles and crowns must work to protect what matters most. Insiders confirm that Queen Mary and King Frederick spent several weeks working privately on their public re-emergence. Not as a stunt, but as a recommitment. Sources say the couple has been attending counseling sessions focused on royal life pressures. They've taken private time away from palace duties. And more importantly, they've made intentional choices to appear together, not because they have to, but because they want to. This new chapter of their marriage isn't the fairy tale of 2004, it's something better. It's real, it's flawed, but it's enduring, and it's captured the imagination of a public desperate for authenticity. In the 21st century, people don't want perfect royals. They want present ones. They want to see effort, vulnerability, and strength woven together. That's what Queen Mary offers. She doesn't try to outshine her critics. She outlasts them. She doesn't argue with the press. She redirects them, and in doing so, she becomes something more powerful than just a queen. She becomes a symbol. A symbol of what it means to be loyal in the face of doubt. Devoted in the face of speculation. And strong in the face of silence. This is the kind of royalty that earns respect, not just inherits it. There are few women in the world who carry as much weight as Queen Mary of Denmark, and fewer still who carry it with such grace. And perhaps, that's what makes her choice so powerful. She didn't issue a statement. She didn't give a tell-all. She simply walked beside her king and let her presence rewrite the narrative. She became Denmark's heartbeat again. And the world watched, spellbound. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe.